his cohort, Sinner and Saint. Sorry, Jack Farmer, I'm not sure if you can hear me over this raucous crowd.
Well, this crowd is ready for a good one. I think they're going to get it, but I think Alan Angel's not being out here actually speaks to just how important his match is later tonight, in one that could have very big repercussions on a couple of careers.
Head-to-head with Chris Sabin a little bit later on tonight, but right now it is Judas Icarus head-to-head with Superman's daddy, Jorel Nelson. Clearly a decided size disadvantage for Sinner and Saint. What do they have to do to counteract that, Jack?
Well, like I said, these guys are technical and sneaky. The thing about Judas Icarus, I always say, is he's got that dog in him. He's someone who, you know, you may not like what he does, you may not like how he handles things, but he's someone who will do anything it takes to win. And at the end of the day, that's what this game is all about, is getting those wins. He's not going to have the power game, you're right, but Judas Icarus is someone who's going to do whatever it takes to neutralize them.
He is scrappy, man. He is tenacious. I think back to the Cascadia Wrestling Cup. Big wins over the likes of Ethan HD and Nicole Matthews. Judas Icarus, you give him an inch, he'll take a mile, and that seems to be what he's doing here against Nelson.
Well, I look at things like not having any shoes on when he wrestles, and a lot of people may think that that's just weird or different. Some people may say it's dangerous because he's got 10 digits exposed to be attacked, but the way I look at it is he's got real grip on the mat. He's got a better control of what he does, and he's willing to risk the damage in order to have a better control of the match, and that's the kind of competitor, as he takes a shot to the feet now, that's the kind of competitor that has long-term success.
Perhaps the commentator's curse in full display here. Jorel Nelson with a big shoulder block, taking Judas Icarus off his feet.
Sometimes it is the size of the dog in the fight, Jordan. And Jorel is the bigger dog, using that size to take down.
Nice leapfrog there from Judas Icarus. Excuse me, Jack. Cartwheel here. Sends Nelson in the corner. But Jorel stealing it, looking for a roll-up perhaps. No. Big shot to the chest. And another. And another.
And this is what Jorel and Royce need to do. They need to use the fast, hard-hitting moments to take control of this and not allow Sinner and Saint to get any momentum, not allow them to come up with or execute a game plan. And an overhead belly-to-belly is going to do just that.
All the momentum firmly in the West Coast Wrecking Crew's corner. Tope Suicida from Nelson, spilling into the third row. Again, no shortage of fan-friendly wrestling here in the Vermont Hollywood. We're going to be back on May 16th as we present a live or breathing Shelton Benjamin versus Josh Alexander, already confirmed. Tickets available at prestigewrestling.net. You gotta be here, fans.
Jeez, that is gonna be a classic. You know, as we see that dive to the outside, I always like to say at Prestige, just because your row number doesn't say 1 doesn't mean you don't got a front row seat.
Doesn't mean you don't get a wrestler in your seat at one point or another.
Yeah, you may have to share that seat.
We talk about how scrappy Judas Icarus is, despite the size disparity here, can really hold his own, when it comes to a slugfest here. A blind tag to Travis Williams, basement dropkick, big knee from Icarus, and Williams into the cover.
And this is where Sinner and Saint can get really dangerous. They're quick tags, understanding how to utilize each other. I talked about managing chaos in a tag team match. This is what I'm talking about. Being able to stay ahead of your opponents, but again, just the power of West Coast Wrecking Crew.
Unable to stay ahead of their opponents here. In comes Royce Isaacs. Almost a dragon screw there from Nelson. Isaacs with a big shot to the mush. Floats over, but only a 2.
Royce Isaacs, someone who I feel like gets bigger every time I see him.
He's
I don't
massive.
know how it happens.
He's a truly massive human being. IWTV does not do him justice. Jorel Nelson, no small fry in his own right.
No, not at all. And this is where West Coast Wrecking Crew, like wrecking balls themselves,
cover from Nelson. Only a 2.
Travis Williams already looking like he might need to make a tag out of there. and again, get moving faster, get those fast-paced tags, start to maybe isolate one of the West Coast Wrecking Crew. Easy for me to say from the commentary desk, but it's a standard of tag team wrestling for a reason.
It's been the story of this matchup thus far. Every time a fresher member of Sinner and Saint has entered the ring, they've tried to mount offense, and almost immediately they've been cut off at the heels by the West Coast Wrecking Crew. Basement drop kick from Nelson, and I think Royce Isaacs is thinking deadlift, German suplex, shoulders down, but a kick out from Williams, still maintaining that waist lock. Again, shoulders down. Reversing it into a leg lock, it seems.
Well, this is why I talked about the straw that was drawn for these two's first defense.
Judas Icarus in to break up the submission, but Royce Isaacs isn't moving here, Jack Farmer. Finally he does, but it took several shots from the bare feet of Icarus to make it happen.
Well, we talked about how tough the West Coast Wrecking Crew is. I mean, you look at the fact that Royce Isaacs got kicked in the face multiple times and was still just holding the move. That's why I was saying that this is a really tough draw for a first title defense of Travis Williams and Judas Icarus, because the West Coast Wrecking Crew, they can work in tandem as well.
Back suplex into the cover, again broken up by Judas Icarus. Both great tag team wrestlers, but you see it here, Jack. Sinner and Saint having to rely on the illegal maneuvers, having to rely on the bending of the rules.
Well, sometimes you do what you have to do. Again, I always say sometimes you don't like it, but at the end of the day, you want to stay the champion. As again, look at these two trying to do whatever they can, and there is taking advantage of the chaos.
Not just trying, succeeding. Williams with a springboard drop kick to Royce Isaacs. Icarus finishing the job. Up and over. And back in the ring, the professional lariat to Jorel Nelson. This might be all she wrote. No, a kick out. A kick out from Superman's daddy.
And Travis Williams, one of the most technically gifted wrestlers you're going to see, still very young to be called that as well. Someone who I always say can make his own luck. I like the fact that he's getting back to work and not letting this kick out stop him.
Well, of course, this alliance with Sinner and Saint and Alan Angels, collectively known as The Noise, began here in Los Angeles at the Respect Issue, where, if you remember, Williams gifted Angels victory on a silver platter in that four-way match.
Well, you know, that was a loss that Travis Williams took.
Russian leg sweep into the lateral press, but a kick out.
Travis Williams took the loss there.
Again, frequent covers here, fast and furious from Icarus.
I'm trying to say something nice about you guys. I was going to say Travis Williams.
And this is what you get for it. These guys are rotten, I'm telling you.
He takes the loss, gives it to Alan Angels, and you can question whether that was a smart move, but look at where Sinner and Saint were before aligning with Alan Angels, and look at where they are now. They were a team on the come up to a team who is on the very tippy top of the mountain. You can say whatever you want about how that match ended, but it played out very well for Sinner and Saint.
Again, we lose sight of it, but the match at Roseland 7, where Sinner and Saint captured tag team titles from C4, was actually their first win in Prestige. So I hate to give the devil his due, but you're absolutely right, Jack Farmer.
Yeah, and since then, they've really been on a roll. They haven't had necessarily every match a win, but
oh, come on, referee Chad Rico with his back turn. Royce Isaacs leaving the opening for Sinner and Saint with the double team.
And the way, like Piranha, Sinner and Saint just pounce on the fresh meat in their corner the second they have a chance, and they get every ounce of offense in for as long as they can. That doesn't look nice, but it's incredibly effective.
Again, they're fantastic athletes, but there are a lot of fantastic athletes. I'd say everyone in Prestige wrestling is a fantastic athlete. Cover here from the professional. It is the grit and tenacity of Judas Icarus and Travis Williams that sets them apart, and quite frankly, one of the many reasons why they're Prestige Wrestling Tag Team Champions.
I mean, and look, they beat C4. It's not like they beat some nobody team to become the champions. They beat one of the very best, as you say, the ace tag team in Prestige.
A tag team that actually beat the West Coast Wrecking Crew back at Roseland 4, Wake the Dead.
And let's not forget, they've gone toe-to-toe with teams like the Motor City Machine Guns. They've been in there with some very big names, and they never back down. They never will. This is a team that is the champions now, but they are going to get better.
Champions now, hoping to keep it that way. In firm control of Jorel Nelson, who needs to make a tag in a big, big way.
And we've seen this before.
Oh no! I was thinking that Angels win combination, but Jorel Nelson saw it coming.
Jorel, knowing that he's in a bit of desperation, look at that maneuver!
Almost a pounce, sending Sinner and Saint careening into one another. And this is Nelson's opening. He needs to make the tag.
Just forcing himself through both Sinner and Saint. And if he gets the tag here, this place is gonna explode.
Well, the place is exploding. The Mile High Samurai is legal, and he's taking the fight to Sinner and Saint.
Well, they are the West Coast Wrecking Crew because they are about to wreck the Prestige Tag Team Champions. Royce Isaacs having his way with both of them.
Again, as his tag team partner Jorel Nelson did just a few moments ago, sending Sinner and Saint. How often do you see that? Sending Sinner and Saint into one another, using tag partners as projectiles against one another. But Icarus and Williams leveled with a huge clothesline.
The speed, the power, the impact of Royce Isaacs has absolutely changed all of the complexion of this match. Just hucking Judas Icarus over his head and looking to get a Groupon on these things.
T-bone suplex. What's a pump handle power slam? This could be it. New champs. No.
The power it takes to change the direction of another human body who's fighting against you mid-air is absolutely unstatable.
Right.
I mean, that is incredible.
Can't even find the words, Farmer.
They don't make words for moves like that, Jordan.
They don't make words for tag teams like the West Coast Wrecking Crew. Nelson and Isaacs perhaps zeroing in on Prestige Wrestling Tag Team Championship gold.
Again, I said at the top, enforcing
look at this.
their
Williams
will.
doing everything he can to evade the powerbomb, and Icarus has the feet of Nelson.
Great move by Judas Icarus, stopping Jorel Nelson from being able to aid in that tag team maneuver.
Lighthouse Lariat from Judas Icarus.
The way these two work together.
Travis Williams
directions.
keeping him on his toes, not letting Royce Isaacs know his next move. And now, I think Sinner and Saint are dead set on title retention.
There is no safety, there is no reprieve from Sinner and Saint when they get going. Jorel trying to use that brute force again.
Yeah, trying the key word. Williams cuts him off at the pass, perhaps thinking superplex. But that's much easier said than done against a bigger man.
If he's able to hit this, game over.
And Icarus following through with a frog splash. Leg hooked. No!
Jorel Nelson kicking out of a combination that has won tag team championships in the past. Showing just how important this championship match is to him today.
And you can see desperation painted on the face of Sinner and Saint. They thought that was it. The fans thought that was it. We thought that was it. But the West Coast Wrecking Crew fights on.
Sinner and Saint getting right back to work. They have a underrated sized arsenal.
Hold on, I think Judas Icarus misjudged that, was trying to send Nelson into the cover now. Big back body drop from Jorel Nelson, was trying to send Nelson onto the shoulders of Williams for the electric chair, but instead Nelson.
I think the West Coast Wrecking Crew are saying to themselves, we're done being fancy. We're done trying to keep up and out-tactician you. We're just going to pick you up and slam you down.
New champs on the horizon. No, again broken up by Judas Icarus.
As all four of these men try to figure out what's next.
And it speaks to the desperation of Sinner and Saint. Judas Icarus knew that Travis Williams wasn't kicking out of that of his own accord.
The West Coast Wrecking Crew, what do they have planned here?
Sit out powerbomb.
Look at Royce Isaacs. He looks like he's just getting started.
Well, not to be dramatic, Jack, but you gotta think, winning those Prestige Wrestling Tag Team titles would change the career trajectory for the Wrecking Crew.
This is a team that is definitely championship caliber to have. But you're right, to have a Prestige championship is a whole new level.
A trading of waist locks here between Williams and Isaacs. And it's the Mile High Samurai coming out on top with a headlock Up and over, leapfrog there, into the waiting arms of the Death Valley driver from Royce Isaacs. Jorel Nelson with the elbow drop from the top, into the cover. We got new champions. No.
We had to give Jorel Nelson his flowers when he kicked out of that incredible combination maneuver. Now we got to give them to Travis Williams. The fact that he had that fight in him to keep those championships and kick out, I think these people say it best. This is awesome. This is awesome.
This is awesome. Jorel Nelson and Royce Isaacs not going quietly into the night. Back up to their feet, and I'm not sure how well that's going to work, Judas.
You know, Judas has done a lot of smart moves in this match. I don't know if that was one of them.
Look at this fireman's carry from Isaacs. Judas Icarus on the mat.
Looking to put both men down in one big maneuver.
But Judas Icarus and Williams able to wriggle out of dodge. This time it's Williams sending the Wrecking Crew careening into one another, perhaps giving them a taste of their own medicine.
I think it was what they were going for was smart, trying to take out both Sinner and Saint so no one could make the save. But Sinner and Saint were ready to play and ready to stay in this thing.
Judas Icarus and Travis Williams turning the tide now, sending Jorel Nelson, I believe, the legal man, back in the ring.
Well, that's why we have Chad Rico keeping the order in there. I've lost track myself. But Jorel fighting both men.
Nice stunner there from Icarus, but Williams sends Jorel Nelson back and forth German suplex.
That's what makes great tag team work. When you're not big enough and strong enough to outpower someone, you use your tag team partner to help out with that German suplex and to help stop a German suplex.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Travis Williams up under the shoulders of Isaacs, was thinking powerbomb, but Williams lands on his feet. What is he doing here with Chad Rico?
Again, trying to take advantage of the chaos.
Look at that. I believe there was a low blow there. I believe there was a low blow from Icarus to Isaacs, and now we see the killing blow. Oh, come on, give me a break.
Your winners,